The moment Theo is caught out over Billy's death, Coronation Street's most chilling confession yet. In Coronation Street, guilt has a way of clawing its way to the surface, no matter how deeply it is buried. And for Theo Silverton, James Cartwright, that reckoning may finally be at hand. In a haunting new spoiler video, viewers witness the precise moment Theo realizes that his darkest secret, the truth behind Billy Mayhew's tragic death, may no longer be his alone. It is a scene steeped in grief, denial and creeping dread, marking one of the most psychologically charged moments the soap has delivered in recent years. Billy Mayhew, Daniel Brocklebank, Weatherfield's much-loved vicar, died earlier this month following the catastrophic Corriedale crash, a multi-vehicle collision that tore through the community and left devastation in its wake. Officially, Billy was another innocent victim of tragic circumstances. Unofficially, however, his death carries a far more sinister truth, because Billy did not simply die in the crash. He was left to die, a jealousy that turned deadly. Theo Silverton had never been comfortable with Billy's close friendship with Todd Grimshaw, Gareth Pierce. From the outset, his jealousy simmered just beneath the surface, fueled by insecurity and control. To Theo, Billy was more than a friend or confidant, he was a threat. As the day of Debbie Webster's, Sue Devaney, wedding unfolded, Theo's unease intensified. Amid the celebrations, he began to sense something deeply unsettling. Billy knew the truth. The truth about the abuse Todd had been suffering. The truth Theo was desperate to keep hidden. When disaster struck in the form of the Corriedale crash, chaos reigned. Emergency services scrambled. Lives hung in the balance. And in those frantic moments, Theo made a decision that would change everything. Returning to the wrecked minibus, Theo found Billy trapped inside. Injured, unconscious, helpless. What followed was not an accident, nor an act of panic, but a calculated choice made in a split second. Theo strapped Billy back into the driver's seat and walked away, leaving him to perish in the flames engulfing the vehicle. Billy died not because he could not be saved, but because Theo chose not to save him. The illusion of victory. In the aftermath, grief consumed Todd. Stripped of Billy, emotionally shattered and isolated, he felt there was nowhere left to turn. And so, at his lowest ebb, Todd returned to Theo. For a time, it seemed Theo had won. He positioned himself as the devoted partner, the unwavering support, the man holding everyone together in the wake of tragedy. To Todd, to Summer, to George Shuttleworth, Theo appeared to be a rock. A constant, someone dependable in a world that had suddenly lost its center. But there was one enemy Theo had failed to account for, his own conscience. While coercive control and violence never seemed to trouble his sleep, murder proved to be a different line altogether. The act he justified in the name of love began to rot from the inside, eroding the carefully constructed image he presented to the world. Upcoming episodes reveal a man unraveled by guilt, tormented by intrusive thoughts and haunted by the ghost of the man he left to die, and that torment reaches its most unsettling peak in the most unexpected of places. A confession in the funeral parlor. In the newly released spoiler video, Theo finds himself standing alone beside Billy's coffin in the funeral parlor, a setting heavy with symbolism and suffocating silence. There is no one there to hear him. Or so he believes. As he gazes at the man whose life he ended, Theo begins to speak. His words spill out not as a rehearsed lie, but as a fractured confession born of desperation and self-loathing. He insists that if he had time to think, if circumstances had been different, he would have saved Billy. I don't think I'll ever forgive myself, he admits, voice breaking. I'm so sorry. Tears fall freely as Theo attempts to rewrite history aloud, clinging to the fantasy that hesitation, not intent, sealed Billy's fate. He goes on to deny the very label that terrifies him most. I'm not a murderer, he insists. He is merely someone who loves his partner too much. It is a chilling rationalization, one that exposes the warped logic Theo uses to justify the unforgivable. As he continues pleading for some form of absolution, a sound cuts through the moment, a door closing somewhere in the distance. The moment everything changes. The noise is subtle, but its impact is seismic. Theo freezes, instantly assuming the sound belongs to George Shuttleworth, Tony Maudsley. Theo hurriedly gathers himself, wiping away tears and forcing composure back into place. He exits the room, bracing himself for an awkward encounter. But when he steps into the corridor, there is no one there, no George. No staff, no explanation. Which leaves only one terrifying possibility. Someone else heard everything. Whoever was within earshot of Theo's confession now holds the ultimate weapon, the truth behind Billy Mayhew's death. And with that knowledge comes the power to bring Theo down. Yet, as Coronation Street fans know all too well, exposure does not always lead to repentance. Sometimes, it leads to escalation. With his carefully curated world on the brink of collapse, Theo may now be more dangerous than ever, a villain unraveling. Speaking about Theo's mental state following Billy's death, Coronation Street executive producer Kate Brooks offers a chilling insight into the psychology of a man coming apart at the seams. "We'll see Theo, who is obviously ravaged by his own guilt," she explains. "Yes, he did something absolutely despicable, but he justifies it as being absolutely necessary to keep hold of Todd." According to Brooks, Theo's actions stem from a deeply distorted sense of love, one that is possessive, controlling and profoundly unhinged, because he does, in his own very warped, very tarnished way, deep down love Todd. He does everything he can to be an absolute pillar of support for Todd, Summer and George. He's an absolute rock. This performative strength serves a dual purpose. On the surface, it reinforces Theo's image as dependable and selfless. Beneath it, however, lies a frantic attempt to suppress guilt and maintain control. Part of this is about masking his own guilt about his role in Billy's death, Brooks continues. But he also knows how close he came to losing Todd, so he wants to do everything he can to make sure he doesn't lose Todd again. It is this fear, of exposure, of abandonment, of losing control, that makes Theo so unpredictable in the weeks ahead. What happens when the truth is heard? The identity of the unseen listener remains a mystery, but the implications are vast. Whether it is someone close to the family, a peripheral character, or an unexpected witness, the knowledge they now possess could alter the course of multiple lives. Will they go to the police? Confront Theo directly, or leverage the truth for their own ends? And how far would Theo go to keep his secret buried? Coronation Street has long explored the devastating ripple effects of abuse and control, and this storyline promises to push those themes to their most harrowing conclusion yet. As Theo's internal conflict spirals outward, viewers are left questioning not just when the truth will emerge, but how much damage will be done before it does. One thing is certain, Billy Mayhew's death is far from resolved. And the sound of that closing door may prove to be the loudest moment of all.